Are you new to Clash Royale and have no idea how to play? You have any idea what it means when someone clowns on you for overcommitting on a PE? You know how to capitalize when your opponent is out of sight well. If you don't have any idea what any of this means, you're at the right spot. One hasn't been playing since day one. They're not going to have any idea what I'm saying, so today I decided to make a beginner's guide on how to get onto the right track in Clash Royale. Even if you have been playing the game for a while, this will be a good refresher on all these terms that you might not hear all the time. So without further ado, here are 14 terms that you have to know to play Clash Royale. The most important part of Clash Royale is your deck. Whatever deck you choose is definitely going to change the way you play the game. The truth is not all decks are created equal. So here are some terms that you're going to have to know to be a better deck builder in Clash Royale and just be a better player overall. The first term is archetype. A deck archetype is basically the basis of a D. Most of the time you'll hear this. It's like the main Y condition of the deck, or like the two main cards of the deck. You'll hear Log Bait Hog Cycle, Electro Giant Golem. Anything like that is a deck archetype. It is just the main structure of the deck. That's all that means. The second term that you have to know is cycle. Cycle is basically how fast you can get to the same card in your deck. Again, let's say you place the log. You have to play 3 or 4 more cards, depending on if you have a champion on the map to get back to your log again. This becomes insanely important when talking about your win conditions and count when you're playing against Logbait. They are trying to outcycle your log, so you need to know how many cards they are away from their goblin barrel, and how many cards you are away from your log, because your log has to be in C. Also becomes important when playing Hong Cycle. Basically, the player puts a whole bunch of cheap cards inside of their deck to try to spam as many hogs as possible. You need to keep up with their hog cycle with your hog counter. You can't do this, you lose. The third term you need to know is what a Y condition is. A Y condition is basically any card your deck is based around for its main dat. The only 2 cards that makes this kind of controversial is the Ice Golem and 3 Musketeer. The Ice Golem goes directly for towers, but then again it doesn't do enough damage to be the main damage dealer in your dead. The other card that gets kind of controversial with is the 3 Musketeers. The 3 Musketeers don't go directly towards towers, but most of the time it is the main damage dealer in your deck for you beginners. This is the Giant. The Giant is the main damage dealer in your deck. It goes directly towards T. This is a term that you have to use long term because you have to have a Wu-I conditioning in your deck. For it to be any good fourth term that you have to know is support cards. A support card is basically any card inside of your deck that is not a Y condition or a Spit Musketeer. Evault Firecracker Barbarians and Ice Spirit, all those cards are support. A support card is basically there to mesh your deck together. Remember, certain support cards are going to work better with certain wind condition. That's just how it works, and please do not try to mix these support cards in with the wrong deck. The fifth turn that we're going to talk about is Big Spell. A big spell is any spell inside of your, that's not a small spell, we're talking Rocket Lightning Poison. Fireball and sometimes even Earthquake can be classified as a big spell, is usually your bigger damage dealer. It can kill troops more often than small spells, and it can sometimes be used as a win condition. Later in game is very important in the beginning and later parts of the game to have these things upgraded. They are very important for the 6th turn we're going to talk about is small spells. Small spells are your log, your zap, your basically any smaller spell that does little damage compared to big spell are usually meant to kill swarms and have knockback, which is not typically the point of bigger spell. These spells are insanely. There's no way you're beating a bait deck when you don't have a small spell in your deck. You just stand no chance. Just please. Do not forget about the 7th tour week.